CIET NCERT presents audiobook Interactions, activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10.
Page 111.
Chapter 48, Creating Gender Equality.
Learning Outcomes. 1.
Learners will be able to listen for gist, specific information and detail in the given text.
2.
Learners will be able to listen and draw inferences.
3.
Learners will be able to discuss and form opinions regarding gender difference.
4.
Learners will be able to create a story or narrative in the context of gender biases around them. We shall now move to page 173 for the appendix for Chapter 48.
Page 173.
Appendix 48.
1.
Gender role is a set of expectations that prescribes how females and males should think, act and feel. Parents are important influences on gender socialization, especially in the early years of a child's development. Through rewards and punishments, they induce in children gender-appropriate and inappropriate behaviors.
Page 174. 2.
Parents often use rewards and punishments to teach their daughters to be feminine and boys to be masculine. Peer influence is also considered to be a major contributor to gender socialization. Parents restrict school-aged girls more than boys and assign them different type of chores. In everyday interactions, parents give their daughters a kind of dependence training and their sons a kind of independence training. Media, including cartoons and commercials, are known to perpetuate gender stereotypes.
3.
A research on gender stereotypes in commercials shows that across cultures, authority figures are men, and women are mostly shown in dependent and domestic roles. The research further shows that women are more likely to sell body products while men sports products.
4.
Once children learn the role of male and female, they organize their world on the basis of gender. Children's attention and behavior are guided by an internal motivation to conform to gender-based socio-cultural standards and stereotypes. Once they have internalized gender standards, they begin to expect gender-appropriate behavior from themselves. Young boys may refuse to wear feminine clothes in a fancy dress competition. When playing house, ghar ghar, girls may refuse to play the father's role. Once they have identified with their own gender, children may model after a powerful cultural figure of the same gender.
5.
Gender typing occurs when individuals are ready to encode and organize information along the lines of what is considered appropriate or typical for males and females in a society. We shall now turn to page 111 for the activities of Chapter 48.
Page 111. Warm-up. A.
Look at the following pictures carefully. Work in pairs and answer these questions.
1.
It's a scene of playtime. All the little girls are indoors playing with dolls, and the boys are outside playing football.
2.
It's not an unusual sight. This image shows a man dressed in official or formal clothes, a coat, a tie, shoes, trousers, belt, and a woman is bent over with a cooker on the stove, a broom in her hand, trying to mop up things. She is doing domestic work.
3.
A mother and daughter are in a kitchen. She is probably preparing a cup of tea. The father and son are sitting, chatting comfortably in the living room.
1.
According to you, What is the common issue being depicted in these pictures? Why do you feel so?
2,
How often have you witnessed such situations around you? What have you done to change them?
3,
What do you understand by gender equality?
4,
Suggest 3 ways to bring a change to gender stereotype in society.
page 112. Activity 1, listening. A.
Your teacher will be reading aloud the first half of the 5 sentences that are there in Appendix 48. Listen carefully and work with your friend to predict what follows in the remaining sentences.
B.
Listen to the full text. Work in groups of 3 to write brief notes on the following:
1,
socialization,
2,
gender typing,
3,
gender,
4.
dependence training.
Activity 2, speaking. A.
A teacher has to divide a class into groups, having 5 students each. Using the terms discussed in the previous exercise, ask each group to narrate a story around fighting gender roles. The groups will share their story with the entire class. Chapter 48, Creating Gender Equality, ends here.
Activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10. You were just listening to this audiobook. Read by Akash and Dr. Anandana Kapoor. Recorded by Bati Langlingdo and Mayank Kumar. Production assistants Tanu Gupta. Directed and produced by Vandana Arimardhan. This audiobook is presented to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.